I want to ask a question. Does anti-Christian bigotry and anti-Christian hate exist in Canada? I've been told that it doesn't. I want to bring you into a minute of the life of myself, some of our team members, and even my family at times. This is a very challenging video for me to do right now, but please take a minute to share if you feel that seeing kindness and civility restored to our nation is important. On Valentine's Day, our team received a very intense message on our answering machine, a very threatening message. I'm about to share with you a clipped down version of what we received. As somebody that is a visible Christian leader, but has also run for office, I'd like to shed some light today on what I at least perceive to be a growing problem in our nation, and I believe we can be a part of the solution together. But first, let me play this message for you, and I do want to warn you that it is intense.
I'm very concerned about your show. I listen to the hate and the stink on your far right-wing fascist pig.
Yeah, it is wrong. I don't even think the Bible encourages that. But you stinking pigs are still hard at it.
Give me a call, evangelical dog. You're a fascist pig. Phone me up and let me know, because I will fight you pigs in the street.
You're pigs, you're fascist pigs. Phone me up. Pray for your ugly selves.
And that on 18, what a horrible, ugly woman. You're haters, man. Haters, and you, I'll fight you in the street, fascist pigs, and off.
I wish I could say that this was a one-off. Some of you know just a little bit of our story, but we now have well over 2,000 screen captures of online incidents of bullying, cyber harassment, people telling me to kill myself, that I'm a fascist, that I'm a Nazi, just pick your adjective. When I was canvassing in a recent election as a candidate, I had a man who put his German Shepherd dogs on a charge in my direction, suspicious activity around our home. Online and even in-person harassment has been abundant and intense. And I've noticed an increase. I've only talked about things at a very, very surface level, but in this case, I felt like it was time to start going a little bit more public. Why? I'm not trying to stir up sympathy for myself or our team, though I would definitely covet your prayers. I think it's really important that we begin to expose this. We begin to have a conversation, because it's simply not okay. It's not okay for anyone to experience this type of bullying and harassment. So how do we respond in light of this, what feels like to be a growing anti-Christian bigotry in our nation? My first response to that obviously was compassion for our team member who heard the message, was the first one to hear the message and heard it unedited. Secondly, obviously, was concern for our family. For those of you that are maybe concerned about our safety, we do want to let you know that we have alerted authorities. There's already somebody who's engaging with this to ensure that this man isn't close to where we are. But thirdly, I did a quick scan trying to figure out, okay, what might have triggered this type of a response? Well, the shows we've recently aired include Praying for the Peace of Jerusalem, a show on revival that's breaking out with our Indigenous brothers and sisters in the north of Quebec, another show about what's happening in the next generation, and a show about alternative education for Christian families. There was literally nothing in our content that was hateful or unloving. And yet this man, just because we are Christians, just because I'm a visible Christian, felt like it was okay to call our team and leave this type of a message on the line. What is it that creates such a hatred towards somebody like myself, whom this man has never met? It was just a rage against Christians, threatening to assault us if he saw us in the streets. So how do we respond to this? We need to take a moment to pray for those that are so captured with a spirit of hatred that they can't see that the very thing they're accusing others of, they are doing themselves. I think when we see a response like this, we understand that these individuals that are so captured with hate and rage, they are troubled in their hearts, and we need to pray. We need to pray for peace. We need to pray for wisdom. And we need to pray for a movement of kindness and peace and reconciliation in our nation. My prayer and my heart for him is that the anger and the hatred in his soul would be dissipated, but also that the harassment and the bullying would stop. And that brings me to my second point. Please pray for him, but please pray also for those that are in visible positions of leadership, whether a Christian talk show host like myself. I've also observed this type of behavior with candidates, with our elected officials that stand for things like parental rights, or traditional values. Pray for your pastors. Pray for anyone that's in the public spotlight and have compassion for them. Remember that they are mothers, they are fathers, that they have children and families. And that brings me to my third point. You know, I thought in response to this message, wouldn't it be amazing if we were able to trigger a national movement of love and kindness, where those of us that listen to this type of thing and say, hey, that's really not okay, that we actively go in the opposite disposition, that we take every opportunity to encourage those that are taking a beating in the public square. I'm not asking for anything for myself personally, but I'm thinking of, for example, I recently heard of MLAs here in Alberta that were showing up at their offices and their staffers were having to be subjected to office doors that were completely peppered with sticky notes that were full of hatred and vile statements. I've recently heard of some staff members that have actually quit because the hate has just been so intense. To shed some light on what happens with candidates and those serving in public office, I recently shared a 30-minute presentation pulling back the veil on some of what my family and I were subjected to when I ran for office. Maybe consider watching that 30-minute video, digesting the content, and maybe even sharing it with some of your friends. So whether pastors, just public people in general, or our elected officials, to anyone that's before people, we have such an opportunity to show them kindness in an era that has become so harsh. But the last thing I want to say is I think we have an opportunity and a duty to also advocate. It was a few months back that a petition was started to push back on anti-Christian bigotry in the public square. This was specifically a response to another church burning, but I think messages like the one I just played for you could be included in this wheelhouse of anti-Christian harassment. Why am I speaking out about this now? I think it's really important for us to raise awareness on what is happening, because that is the beginning of change. That is the beginning of us all digging deep and saying, okay, we need to be a voice on this. We need to be a part of ensuring that this cultural tide of hate against Christians is curbed. And we also need to be aware and wise to what's happening in our times. Anti-Christian hate has been on the rise in Canada, but it doesn't have to remain that way. We can turn it around. And it begins with sharing a video like this with your friends and like-minded loved ones so that awareness can be raised and we can all together be a part of the change that our nation needs. Thanks for watching. God bless you. God bless this man who left this message, and God bless Canada. May he keep our land glorious and free.